on Enlightened World Network. And it's another Monday. It happens faster and faster, it seems. So today's topic is leading from our strengths. And this topic arose from a conversation that I had with a client, and I'm looking forward to exploring it with you. But before we get started, let's just take a minute to get settled in and present. And so let's take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it and imagine crisp, clear oxygen flooding your lungs and moving into your bloodstream and nourishing all your cells and enlivening you. And as you exhale, maybe roll your shoulders and relax your any tension in your back and in your neck. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose. Hold it, and this time imagine sparkling white light just coursing through all the molecules and electrons that are in your body and that connect you with the world beyond. And as you exhale, exhale any remaining tension, any stress. And now let's just gently press our palms together and really, really softly, just gently rub your fingers against your palms and feel how delicious that is. Yay, wonderful. Let's just bring ourselves present here right now and welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, Kim. Kim is in the house. It's great to see you here this morning. Welcome. We're going to talk today about leading from your strengths. And this came out of a conversation that I had with a client who is very, very talented and also very committed to personal growth and excellence. And it turns out that this this client is has an identity of being a high achiever. And when we have identities of being a high achiever, when we don't meet the expectations that are unspoken behind that, which is like, I always am a high achiever, I always excel at everything, then that can create a lot of, well, create an environment for tremendous disappointment and frustration and not a whole lot of latitude for being able to be a human being, right? And so we had a conversation saying, hey, guess what? It's okay to suck at some things. Like we are not all good at everything, and that's okay. And that doesn't mean that we don't choose to put our energy and attention to learning new things or growing in areas where we may not be as strong as others. However, when we're allocating the bulk of our time, which is a precious resource, where do we choose to focus that time and energy to be able to create the most impactful result? So I think that this is a really important conversation. I was at a real estate symposium over the weekend, and it was really, really interesting with a bunch of different speakers talking on different real estate strategies, investment strategies, as well as kind of personal growth and business strategies. And hi, Natalie, welcome. So glad to have you here. So, we're talking about leading from your strengths and the power of that, and finding a balance between personal development and growth and also impact. So, one of the people that was a business person, very successful business person, one of the things that they said, which in light of this conversation that I'd had with a client, really resonated for me, and that is lead from your strengths and hire your weaknesses. And in a business context, or in a teamwork context, for instance, or in a social context, we are not experts at everything. We are not excellent at everything. And that's not only fine, but that's wonderful, because that way we get to collaborate with other people and we get to connect with people that have complementary talents and skills. And so we can take this a step further, not just for aptitudes, because I have I have been really good at things that I didn't particularly enjoy too. So I'm not talking about just put yourself in an area of strength if it's something that makes you miserable, but when we cultivate our strengths, the likelihood is that we have greater flow, that we have a greater sense of joy, that we have a greater sense of satisfaction and fulfillment and ease in our lives. And so unless we value struggling for the sake of struggling, which many of us do, we have been enculturated to value struggling and suffering in our society. But if you look at a choice of creating results or creating an impact in the world, for an example, versus being excellent at everything, or trying to be everything to everyone, the likelihood is that we're going to shine in the areas of our personal talents. So there are things that I am not good at, and my question to you is, do you spend a lot of time in the areas that you're not good at, or that, and consequently probably don't get a lot of enjoyment from, because you feel like you should be good at this, or you have an idea that you should be able to master all things? I wonder, how is it for you? Like, do you set sort of boundaries for yourself? Do you gravitate to the things that you most enjoy? I mean, I think that there's merit in cultivating other skills, and there could be things that we're not good at that we really enjoy, and that's great. That's a great place to put our attention if it's something that we enjoy but we're not good at, and we decide that we want to gain some level of mastery or some level of competency in that area because it calls to us. That's great. I'm not talking about ignoring that. What I am talking about is the capacity or the capability that we have to be able to really create an impact as we expand the areas that are our natural strengths. So we can refine those areas and tweak those areas and more deeply educate ourselves in those areas to become even more adept. And then those areas will have what we become a better expression of those skills or talents. So let's look at maybe some more specifics. So this person that I was speaking with is brilliant in analyzing data and synthesizing data, not just analyzing it, but synthesizing data to be able to come to come to new conclusions. Natalie says, I'm going to be a manager at cleaning new houses. So my guess is, Natalie, if that's an area that you enjoy, there are aspects of it that you probably come very naturally to you. Maybe you enjoy creating systems. Maybe you enjoy managing people. Maybe you enjoy um, cleaning for the efficiency of it, or for the reward of being able to see a result that you can create. So Natalie says, I love it. And as a manager at cleaning new houses, there are all different kinds of aspects of that position that might be areas of particular enjoyment for you. So, like I said, it could be in the managing people, it could be in organizing a team, it could be in strategically solving a problem of how best to clean this house. It could be uh, any number of different skills that become a part of this activity. So, congratulations to you, Natalie, to find something that you love. And I encourage you, if there's something that you love in your life, to be looking at what is it about that you love. One of the things we talk about a lot is finding your own mission, purpose, soul's calling, to be finding your own expression. And so I wonder what kinds of things call to you. What do you recognize as your particular talents and skills, and how can you refine them even further? So for me, I I do coaching. And so it comes very natural to me to be having these wonderful communications, rich, heartfelt communications, and problem solving kinds of communications, problem in air quotes, challenges, um, with my clients, and to be listening to them in a way that I am able to be present to the undertones of what they're saying. And I get feedback from clients all the time that supports me in honing my skills and honing my awareness and my perception. So, this is a strength that I have and that I can be cultivating. And as I cultivate that strength, then I am better able to serve the people that I interact with. And so, whatever our strengths are, like as far as the analysis and the collection and analysis and synthesis of data, that's not something that is my greatest strength or something that lights me up in a huge way. And so I can do those things, and I do those things when I am required to, for bookkeeping, for example. And that's really not quite the same as collecting all kinds of abstract data to compile. But in any case, we can cultivate our talents in other areas. However, the thing where we are going to most shine is the places of our natural talents. So Kim says, I love how my life is on a path of finding joy in relationships, challenges, and focused on how to handle things lovingly versus fixing a problem itself, for example. Kim, that is beautiful. And I'm so happy for you that you're on a path of finding joy in relationships and challenges, and focused on how to handle things lovingly versus fixing problems. So I think that what I'm hearing from you, Kim, is that you have a strength in cultivating relationship. And in cultivating relationship, it creates a different approach to a quote unquote problem. Whereas instead of addressing the problem, you're communicating into a broader dynamic. And as a result of recognizing that broader dynamic, coming to new solutions that might not have otherwise presented themselves. And Kim says, I love from ACIM the lesson that the problem is never what you think it is. What is ACIM? I don't know that acronym. And I tend to agree that the problem is never what you think it is. So it makes life more fun, for sure. Kim says to be engaged in relationship. Then no doubt what happens is that whatever was the perceived problem uh, makes itself A Course in Miracles. Thank you so much, Kim. I appreciate that. So ACIM is A Course in Miracles. Hi, Hope. Welcome, welcome. Great to have you here. So Natalie says, I've been single 20 years now, so I'm not sure about love. Natalie, I don't believe that for a second. You don't have to be in a romantic relationship to know about love. And I would be willing to bet that you show your love in so many ways throughout every day, in communication with others, to have a compassionate connection. That's about love. The experience of love in your heart is not in any way conditional upon anything external. Actually, we don't have to be coaxed into the experience of love. It's something that we have the ability to generate from from the fullness of our own hearts. If we allow ourselves to connect, we can just love the world around us. We can love nature. We can love ourselves. We can love the presence of an experience of life. So Natalie says, yes, my animals, I love them and they love me. And, Natalie, I think that that's one of the purest forms of love uh, with animals, because they are unconditional. And I have always had very deep connection with the animals in my life, and they're some of my favorite people, for sure. So you do know about love, and I think love is such an important experience, or experience in the richness of our lives. So what we're talking about here is leading from your strengths. And I think in order to lead from our strengths, first we get to recognize them and to take ownership of our strengths without it being egocentric. Recognizing your strengths is not egocentric. False humility is kind of egocentric in its reverse, right? But if we denigrate ourselves, we're still very much focused on ourselves. When you recognize your strengths, that's acknowledging the gifts that you have to be able to give and share with others. And those strengths aren't an accident. They're what make you you. They're what make you, and your weaknesses too. But I think it's important to recognize that we all have strengths and weaknesses, and we can strengthen our weaknesses. And sometimes maybe it's better to be putting our attention on enhancing our strengths or refining our strengths and letting other people be strong in the things that we're not. So uh, I think that there's a richness here for us to explore in terms of where we flow our energy and attention. And I think that when we follow our joy, and we at the same time cultivate our skills, whether they are from our areas of weakness but with joy, or their areas, and when I say weakness, I don't mean it in a negative way. I mean, I don't mean it as something that reflects on personality. Just, there's certain things that I'm just not good at, and I could probably spend lots and lots of time to become better at those things. But if it's not an area of fulfillment for me, wouldn't my time be better spent honing the talents that I do have, the skills that I do have, that I do enjoy, that I can refine and become even more excellent in, to be able to make a greater impact or difference. So I'm wondering, as you look at yourselves, what kinds of skills, what kinds of talents do you have? What kinds of things do you enjoy, that you excel in, that are gifts that you can bring to the world and that you can refine? What areas? Now, this is not to say don't try things that are new, because I think that it's important for us to be always growing and expanding. That's one of my values. And if you hold it, great, we can share that. And if not, that's okay too. I am inclined to think that the folks that here on Enlightened World Network are people that are looking for expansion, for growth, for evolution, shall we say, evolution. And for me, that process in and of itself is a joyful process, even when it's hard, because sometimes it's really hard. But overall, it's a worthy area to cultivate in my perspective. So what can you take on to look at? Maybe even just, maybe you can take it on to discover what some of your strengths are, and to look at how you might refine those strengths even further, how you might lead with those strengths, how you might lead from those strengths in life, and find circumstances that are in alignment with those strengths, so that you can really, really flourish and blossom in life. So that's my thought for today. And I hope it sort of stimulates some creative thinking on your part, and some appreciation for who you are and what strengths you have, and the gifts that you've brought to the world. And so I think I'm going to wrap it up for today. My name is Mira Rubin, and this is the Core Connection. And I go live on the Enlightened World Facebook page every weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. And I encourage you to check out all the awesome programming on the Enlightened World Facebook page, Enlightened World Network, the great community. And until next time, lots and lots and lots of love to you. Have an amazing day, and really take some time to recognize and acknowledge and lead from your strengths.